Hey kids, I'm back in the kitchen again, and today I'm going to make a chili made out of chicken and Hatch chilies. This should be interesting. So let me show you what I got ready for the cook. We're going to start off with, I've got a cast iron stew pot here, and I have a pound of ground turkey. We're going to use, I have some spices here. Let me turn around where you can see it. Cumin and some smoked paprika, some salt, and some ground coriander seed. And we'll use about a teaspoon of each one of those. And as soon as my pot gets hot, we'll start to chicken up and season it up real good. Okay, so I have put in a little bit of avocado oil in there, and I've letted that oil get nice and hot, and I can tell that it is. I'm going to dump in our ground turkey here. This is all of our seasonings. I just measured out a teaspoon apiece. We'll give them a little swirl here to get them all mixed up. And all that looks pretty good. Got that mixed up like that. I'm just going to sprinkle it on top of this chicken. And coat it really good while it's cooking. That spread out a little bit there. We can add the rest of our seasoning. There we go. I'm just going to dump it all in there. Get it coated really good. And we're going to let that brown. In the meantime, I'm going to start chopping up some vegetables. Over here on my cutting board, I have out my Hatch chilies right here. I've got out some onion and some leftover I had from the other day on another dish I prepared. Some garlic and some old key limes will juice. We'll need those as well. So I'm going to chop some vegetables while the chicken's cooking. Well, the chicken is done. It's back there. I've got it off of the stove for the moment. It's seasoned. It smells really good. And I got a new pan on here. And I'm going to let this warm up, add a little bit of oil, and start sauteing some of our veggies. This morning, too, what I did is I went and got a cup of navy beans, and I have been soaking them in some water, and we're going to drain those here for the chili in a little bit, but they've been soaking for probably about 3 to 4 hours now, which will make it great. I'll check them, make sure that there's no stones in the beans, and then we're going to add them to the mix later on. The pan, it feels nice and hot, so we're going to add our 3 or 4 cloves of crushed garlic in there. Ooh, that smells good already. Get that a little bit better there. I just want to let that slowly cook there until it starts to get a little bit golden, and then we're going to add our onions. Next goes in our chopped onions. I have about 1.5 cups or so, coarsely chopped. Those last few bits in there. And we're going to let that saute for a little bit. When it starts to get translucent, then we're going to add our chilies. That looks good. Okay, now it's time for our chilies. It's about 1.5 cups. That was about 1 large and 1 moderately large Hatch chili. Actually, I think I might add more to that. But considering I'm just making a small pot for just my husband and myself, this is probably enough for now. And just let that saute for a little while. I brought my ground turkey mixture back over on the heat. I got my peppers and onions done. Those are over here. And we're going to add that into the pot over here. And I can't do that with one hand, so I'm going to set the phone down for a minute and grab 2 hands. So the peppers and the onions are added to that. We're going to add to that some of our navy beans. I only put in about 1 cup because I wanted to see if that's going to be a lot for this or not. My husband does not like a lot of beans in his chili, so we're going to kind of go skimpy on that. Now we're going to start adding a little bit of unsalted chicken stock. Ooh, look at the broth in the back of that. All right, and I'm also adding part of a jar of guacamole salsa. And that sounds weird. That stuff tastes great. I'll stir it around here and see if we need to add some more moisture to it, which we probably do. Yeah, I think we're going to add a little more chicken stock and a little more, about like that. We're going to add a couple bay leaves to that as well, right there like that. Get them squished down in there. And we're just going to let this stuff simmer for a while on the stove. And as they say, to be continued. But I can tell you this right now, that smells good already. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Okay, it's going to simmer for a while. I'll be back in a little bit and see what it looks like. Well, it's been a while since this has been cooking. And I wish you can smell. Oh, it's a little spicy. And it smells, and I've tried the broth. It is really good. Put a little more extra salt in it. But with us trying to watch our salt levels, I generally do that as I cook anyway. But the beans are not quite done. I've checked them. They're still a little bit firm. So I'm going to let them cook a little bit longer, which is fine. Things like chili always taste better when it takes a little longer to cook anyway. Generally, they're better the second day around anyway. But we're going to let it cook some more and check it back in about another hour or so. Well, it's done. It's been a while. Let's take a taste and see what it's like. Boy, that's good. Okay, spicy. Not too many beans. Plenty enough meat. Plenty enough vegetables. This is a definite do-over recipe. Love it. I think you will too. Enjoy. I'm going to have a bowl of it.